everybody, this is Liam Billingham. I'm the Special Projects Manager for Brooklyn Free Speech, and this video will show you how to request field or studio podcast equipment after you've taken the class. The first thing that you're going to want to do is go to bricartsmedia.org/forms. Now, you would only do this after you have been certified, which can take a couple weeks after your class ends. But once you are certified, you can start borrowing equipment. So you'll go to bricartsmedia.org/forms, and you will see a screen that looks like this. And you'll scroll down and click on Make or Cancel an Equipment or Studio Reservation. You can also set up a practice session here. You'll get to this page, which has a lot of information on it. We recommend you read through it. It has details about recertification, proof of residency, and ID. If you haven't brought in a proof of residency or ID, you won't be able to borrow equipment, so you're going to want to go ahead and make sure you do that. And a little bit more about our hours and policies. Please make sure to read this. It also will tell you when you can and cannot pick equipment up in terms of hours. And then at the very bottom, you would choose what would you like to do today. You can make a reservation, cancel one, or set up a practice session. Setting up a practice session, you can only do 24 hours in advance. Making a reservation, you can do 1 month in advance and sooner. So I'm going to click what would I like to do today. I'd like to make a reservation. I'm going to click here and click Next. Then I will choose podcast equipment or studio from the second option on the next page. Question number 2, what would you like to reserve today? And I will click Next. Now, on this page, at the top, it will remind you, if you haven't certified in the new Rodecaster Pro board, that you need to do so. So if you haven't done that, make sure to follow those links. And then below, it'll talk a little bit about the field equipment and the studio and some of the rules and regulations. Make sure to read through that. It's important that people follow these regulations. Not following the rules could mean you will lose access to the space, so it's really important that you follow them. Down under contact information, you'll put in your name. So I'll put in Liam Billingham. Billingham at bricartsmedia.org. And then my phone number. Okay, so now I will have to choose between which podcast resources I'd like to reserve today. So I'm going to request some podcast field equipment. So in order to do that, I'm going to click Podcast Field Equipment, and then below I have to label my certification type. In the case of you as a student, you will more than likely be a certified community podcaster, but if you're something else, you can choose that. So click on I'm a certified community podcaster, click Next, and the page will load up. Your pickup location will be the next screen that comes up. You can either pick up at BRIC House or New Lots Library on Saturdays only. Borrowing from New Lots Library enables you to have the equipment for a week as long as there's not a class going on when we might need it. But let's go with BRIC House. Once I choose BRIC House, I'm then going to click Next. And equipment at BRIC House, I need to schedule my reservation date. Let's just say tomorrow. I'm going to borrow it for question number 6. It asks me if I want to borrow it for 24 or 48 hours. I'm going to choose 48 hours. And then my pickup time could be 3:00 p.m. You have the ability to choose what you want to borrow for question number 8. You can borrow a podcast kit, which will give you a Zoom H5, an SM58 handheld mic, and an XLR, or just choose to borrow one of these pieces of equipment. If you're doing a field interview style kind of piece, I would recommend borrowing a podcast kit and then choosing to borrow an additional Shure microphone and XLR. But it's up to you what you want to choose. But for a standard field interview, these would be the best components to choose. The SM50 podcast kit comes with a short XLR. So if that's a concern of yours, you can choose to just borrow a longer XLR down here in addition to that shorty. It really depends on what you want to use, and you should experiment with that. Once you do that, once you've gone through this procedure here, you then click Next, and you will get a series of rules that you need to read and make sure that you understand exactly what it is you're doing when you borrow equipment. This is important. If If you lose equipment, if you damage it, if you return it late, these are all considered problems that need to be solved, and there may be some penalties in regards to that, so you want to make sure that you take care of it. At the bottom, you do need to agree to use the equipment in accordance with Brooklyn Free Speech equipment and facility use policies, and you're responsible for any recordings that you make. You click agree, and then click next one more time, and you will receive a notification that your request has been sent, and Public Equipment will contact you to let you know if you're able to borrow the equipment at that time, and you can call and text if you have any questions, but please wait to hear from them. And that's how you request field equipment.